You're probably watching this on your phone, right? We use these things every single day, but behind that super fast connection, there's a huge weak spot, a real Achilles heel at the very heart of America's 5G network. Today, we're going to dig into this hidden vulnerability and the high-stakes race to fix it. Okay, so let's just start with a basic question. When you see that little 5G symbol pop up on your phone here in the US, who do you actually think builds all the gear? You know, the towers, the radios, all this stuff that makes it work. You're probably thinking of some big American tech company, yeah? Well, the answer might actually shock you. It's no, not American companies. I know, right? You'd think for a tech powerhouse like the United States, we'd be making our own stuff. But the truth is, there isn't a single major American company that makes the really critical radio hardware for our 5G networks. So if it's not us, who is it? Well, it turns out the backbone of America's 5G is built almost entirely by two companies from the Nordic region. Ericsson, which is from Sweden, and Nokia from Finland. Yep, these two are the big dogs, supplying pretty much all the major carriers here. Samsung plays a part, sure, but the core stuff, it's overwhelmingly European. And that reliance is exactly what we're talking about when we say hidden vulnerability. It's a dependency that has these huge geopolitical ripples that, honestly, most of us never even consider when we're just scrolling through our feeds. You can almost think of it as a base station blackout. See, the US is a total beast when it comes to the software and the brains of the network. You know, companies like Cisco or giants. But the actual physical hardware, the radios that are sending and receiving the 5G signals, it's just a massive blind spot, a total blackout in domestic manufacturing. And that brings us to this number right here. How many major, at-scale American companies are building these critical 5G radio parts? The answer is zero. A big, fat zero. That number alone just tells you everything you need to know about the huge gap in our country's tech independence. Okay, so who cares, right? Why does this even matter? Well, it matters because this dependency creates what you could call a Nordic domino effect. A crisis that happens thousands of miles away could literally knock over our ability to communicate right here at home. Let's get into the specifics of the risk. First off, just look at a map. Finland shares a huge border with Russia. That alone makes the supply chain super vulnerable. All this gear is designed and made in Europe. If something happens there and that supply line gets cut, there's no American company that can just jump in and pick up the slack. And then you've got the cyber side of things. These companies are in NATO countries, making them prime targets. And all the core tech, the encryption, all the secret sauce is based over there. Let me put it this way, and I'm not trying to be dramatic. If a major conflict were to break out over there and just shut down Ericsson and Nokia's factories, the US would feel it, and feel it hard. We'd be staring down the barrel of months of disruptions to our networks with no easy way to fix or replace anything. Okay, so that's the problem. But there is a plan. A really smart countermove, actually. The solution isn't just to swap one supplier for another. It's about totally rethinking how we build networks from the ground up. And that strategy is called OpenRAN. So what the heck is OpenRAN? Honestly, the best way to get it is to think about Lego bricks. In the old days, you had to buy the whole pre-built castle set from one company, say Nokia. You couldn't use anyone else's parts. With OpenRAN, you can buy individual Lego bricks from whoever you want. A radio from this company, some software from that one, an antenna from a third, and it's all designed to just click together. It completely shatters that old-school vendor lock-in. Right, so the old way was total dependency. You were stuck in one company's little walled garden. The new way? It's all about mixing and matching. A carrier could use hardware from a new American company, software from a cool startup in Japan, and it all works together. Now look, it's not some magic wand, getting all those different Lego bricks to play nicely and be super secure. That's a real technical hurdle. But the main point is to spark competition, and crucially, get rid of that single point of failure we were just talking about. So, OpenRAN is a huge piece of the puzzle, but it's not the only piece. It's really the heart of a much bigger strategy to build an infrastructure that can actually take a punch. And this plan basically breaks down into three phases. First, the immediate stuff, the triage. That's pure defense. Let's stockpile critical parts and get some backup systems in place, like using satellites from services like Starlink. Then you move to the midterm. This is where you go on offense. You start launching these OpenRAN pilot programs, you sign deals with new companies to break up that two-company monopoly, and finally the long game, the most ambitious part. use government money and incentives to actually bring manufacturing of this hardware back to the US.
So if we boil it all down, the whole strategy stands on these 5 key pillars. It's not just one thing, it's this comprehensive game plan. Get more suppliers, make stuff here, use satellites as a backup, have a stockpile of parts ready to go, and push for OpenRAN to become the new normal.
And all of this fits into a long-term roadmap. Look, this isn't going to be fixed overnight. This is a journey that will take years, all aimed at achieving what you might call telecom sovereignty.
So what does that journey look like? Well, this timeline gives us a pretty ambitious path. In just the next few years, the idea is to get OpenRAN everywhere and start seeing the first chunk, say 10 to 20% of our base stations, being made right here in the USA. By the time we hit 2030, the goal is to have over half our network built with American parts. But the real finish line, the big prize? By 2035, the vision is a completely independent, American-made 6G network that we not only use ourselves, but can sell to the rest of the world.
And that brings us to the big final question. The race has already started. This is a seriously bold plan to fix a really serious problem. But with 6G already peaking over the horizon, can America pull this off fast enough? Is it enough to just catch up, or can this strategy actually put the US in the driver's seat for the next generation of communication? The answer to that, well, it's pretty much going to define our connected future.